And that's just the way that I operate. I would always use the no to fuel me towards a better yes. Like, the skill set of asking for what you want is going to bring you closer to your vision, your dreams, your ambitions, closer than what you can possibly imagine. And the reason why I was able to land that internship in less than a day. No application process, no waiting on recruiters, none of that. But that whole story of how I ended up in that position ended up there because. Welcome back, everybody, to the Chasing Lightning podcast. I'm your host, CL09, where I help you live slow, move fast, and start things. I have the great blessing of doing that. So, we're in the middle of finals right now. It's midnight, and I just finished my hardest final, like this weekend. Yes, this weekend. It was a Saturday final. So you can take as much as you want from just that. Like, I had to take this really hard final on Saturday, and it actually taught me a lot of things. It taught me reach out to help when you need it. I was able to get some tutoring from some really great friends who knew the content way more than I did. Shout out to Lily and Emma, and they probably saved my grade. This semester has been teaching me a lot on what it means to ask for help. Like, my word of the year, ask. I wanted to be very intentional this year about asking for things. And what happened was, the first thing I wanted to do in terms of my intention to ask for things started with the intention to ask for help. It can be hard to ask for things. And that's what I want to talk more about today, because I'm about to go to California in like less than a week for my internship. And the reason why I was able to land that internship is because I had an ask. And that ask that I ended up giving to the CEO who ran the company ended up leading to me landing this in less than a day. No application process, no waiting on recruiters, none of that. But that whole story of how I ended up in that position ended up there because I asked for it. So I went to this business conference last year, and while I was there, I had the chance to meet some really amazing people. But one of the people that I met at this conference, he was a CEO of this company called Skyline. And Skyline, they sell home security, but they also sell like solar systems. So they have like two different branches. The way I got to be connected to this person that led to me getting this internship was all in this one talk that had nothing to do with him. There's this other businesswoman. Her name is Jamie Curran Lima. She sold her like cosmetics company for like $1 billion to L'Oreal. Crazy story. Look her up. She's a great person too. And what happened was, I was at the front row, and when she gave her talk, she actually had like a 5-minute like window at the end of it where people could like raise their hand and share their story on how rejection changed their lives and how they learned to repurpose rejection for greater change. And so what happened was, I was an investment analyst working at the student-run investment fund at my school, and part of your experience there is like you're spending hours upon hours researching a stock, and then at the end of the process, you pitch like a 5-minute presentation to the investment fund in front of all these student analysts, and sometimes, most of the times, they say no, and that your investment does not end up getting picked to go into the portfolio. And I just shared like my story, and they're like, hey, I would spend all this time researching, and I would just get a no. And what would happen was, I would have to learn how to take that no and tell myself, all right, this no is going to bring me closer to the best value play or my highest conviction play possible. And that's just the way that I operate. I would always use the no to fuel me towards a better yes. And so after I shared that, there's this one guy in the audience. I think you guys might see where this is going. And he heard me. And I didn't know that he was thinking this until after I talked to him about this internship opportunity, and after, he connected me with some people, and after all that. But he actually was thinking in that moment, like, well, this could be an interesting fit for my company. That's literally what he said. And he sent me a message that he thought that when he first heard me. But none of that materialized until like a few months later. It wasn't until February when I saw him again. He was at a virtual summit, and he started talking more about his company, and I was like, dang. I thought to myself literally, like, wouldn't it be cool if I worked for this company? So I went to Instagram and I DM'd him saying, hey, I was that kid you met at the conference in October. Here's what I do. Here's what I'm learning from you and from like the summit that we just had with you. I was just wondering if you had any openings for your company this summer. And he said yes. And he's like, let's talk. So, I talked to him for a little bit and he connected me with one of the managers. And I went through that little conversation with the manager. And in less than 24 hours, I had this internship secured in LA in this amazing, like their culture is great, amazing culture sales company where I'm now going to be knocking on doors. Yeah. And I really think this is like one of the best opportunities possible for me. I mean, I could have never imagined me doing something like this, but in less than 24 hours, I figured out like this is going to be something that will completely change the course of my life because it's going to equip me to do sales like no one else. It's going to place me in environments where my communication is going to be in a very like volatile and hostile environment. And that's like the best way for you to develop like world-class communication skills and deal with rejection at a higher level. And I just can't wait to see everything that comes from that. I could go on to, let's say like, oh, how much excited for this, but that's not the point. Like the skill set of asking for what you want is going to bring you closer to your vision, your dreams, your ambitions, closer than what you can possibly imagine. But there's also another element to asking that has also unfolded in a really meaningful way in my life. And I think the other dimension of asking, outside of asking for what you want, also comes from asking the questions that are probably the ones you don't want to ask in this current moment in your life. And what do I mean by that? So recently, I've been going through a pretty uncomfortable and really like, I don't know how to put it. I think the best way I can define it is kind of like insecurity. I've been questioning myself a lot, like asking myself, like, is what I'm doing actually worth it? Are you the person, do you like the person that you are right now? Stuff like that. And it really makes you want to like isolate and just figure things out for your own, which is not the way you should do it. That's not how you should approach that kind of question, but that's like my primary instinct. And I think I've been seeing like symptoms of me answering a question that I'm not asking myself. And the fruit of my actions have brought a lot of insecurity in my life because I wasn't willing to ask the questions. One of the questions that I just mentioned earlier is like, do I like the person I am? And it's a question that, you don't normally think to ask yourself. But I had a conversation with a really great mentor and friend of mine recently. And I remember just like telling my friend, like, and mentor, I was like, man, I don't know how to put it, but I feel like the more people celebrate me and the more good I see like my impact or my influence have on others, like the less worthy I feel of it. I feel like an imposter right now. And I don't know why. And I know I shouldn't be feeling this way because I see the good, I see the fruit, but it's just not internalizing in my inner world. And my friend was like, well, let's ask a question. He asked me the question like, do you like the person you are right now? Not the person you're becoming. There's a distinction, not who I'm becoming, but the person I am. And I said, no, I don't think I am. So I asked myself the question, and it was a hard thing because like, you never want to accept that. You never want to accept the person that you are is not the version of yourself that you can be or you should be. And the root of me feeling that way is because there were some areas of my character that I hadn't fully developed. And again, taking another step of honesty. I want to be honest with you guys. Like, you guys are my community. I want to just bring you into like the internal conversations that, maybe some of us aren't having, especially for people who are like really ambitious. Because I don't want to stop and ask these questions. And the reason why is because they bring so much internal havoc. The voices in me that are telling me to slow down and to answer them. I mean, come on. I don't want to listen to those voices, but they're important. Like, they're important voices to answer. And one of the areas of my character that I felt like, wow, I need to work on this more, it's humility. It's the amount of humble things you do. And I realized I haven't really developed that as much as I could. And that piece of character, which is very foundational, it's like one of the most foundational pieces of character. It's like one that I realize I need to work more on. So I'm on that journey. And I want to invite you guys to step into areas of your life and in your journey right now where you can start asking the questions to yourself or to others that can unlock the next level of belief and the next level of becoming in your life. Because I have, and frankly, it's been border on chaotic. Like I mentioned, it's not easy because, you have so many voices in your internal world telling you different things about yourself, and you don't know which one to believe, and you don't know which one to question. And frankly, you probably don't even want to question it, which I so understand. Like I didn't want to either. Or you probably don't know what you want to ask for and you're figuring it out. Or you didn't get that summer internship and you're figuring out what you want to do now. Or maybe you did, but you're still looking for ways to really elevate your career or your brand. And I get that. But whatever that might look like for you, whether it means like me having that conversation with that friend or mentor and just really opening it up and having a moment of just really brutal transparency, whether it looks like that for you, or maybe it's like next time you're with your group of friends and one of your friends says something that gives you an opportunity to step into like I don't know if it's like a tutoring session for an exam. I don't care if it's that. But it's related to an area of your life where you need help on, but you haven't had a chance to step into that yet. Do it. That's my call to action. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. It's very late. So if I sound a bit different today, then that's why. I'm really grateful that I could have this conversation because it's just such an important one to have about the power of asking and what it can really do once you really are intentional about asking for the right things. And before I sign off, I do want to say, I really would appreciate if you guys could leave in the comments things that you want me to go over. I know I've been having a lot of interesting conversation with friends about this, and I thought this would be one of the more interesting ones to have with you guys. And I'd love to hear more from you, whether it's just going on YouTube, leaving a comment, or asking a comment through Spotify. I know you can also do that. Or reaching out through the DMs. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I know that I've also not been as active on social media, or like the website isn't up. And the reason why is because I didn't want to put too much time into that, because I know if I did, I would be like super locked in and I wouldn't be able to make progress in school, which right now is my main priority. But there's been a lot of exciting behind the scenes stuff that's been happening with the systems that will allow me to do more of that over the summer. It's just going to be super exciting to step into this really exciting adventure doing door-to-door in California. I'm going to be there for like 3 months. So there's going to be some interesting content on that coming out soon. And I'm excited to see where the direction of the summer takes us. So as usual, guys, if you found at least one thing that was insightful or helpful in today's episode, share it with someone who's like you. Trust. They'll probably find it insightful today. A lot of people need to know about the power of asking and to just be vulnerable with that. So share with someone who's like you. Leave a comment on things you just want me to talk about, on things you found insightful, or things that you don't agree with. I'd love to hear anything on that end. And as usual, good luck with the exams. I hope you guys have a great summer. Excited for everything that's to come and everything that's to come for you all. And peace.